Hi everyone, it's Tasha. Welcome back to my channel.
Now you know that I usually take you thrift shopping with me and then show you what I got and how I style it in our home, but today's video is going to be a little different because I'm doing a refresh on our family room. I'm going to be installing a new sofa, switching out curtains, even building a custom sofa table, and redecorating the room. So come along and join me for this thrifty family room refresh. So the first thing that I need to do is show you our current family room. So let me start way back at the beginning. This is pictures of the room way back of several owners before. And this is how the room is set up with these three large windows kind of in the center, a solid wall on the right hand side, and then two French doors on the left hand side. This is right before we moved in. We painted everything and got rid of the dark trim. And then this is taken kind of just after we've just moved in and shoved our hodgepodge of furniture in there. And then this is kind of current day. I have trimmed out those windows in black. As you can see, we have it set up so that there's a sofa on the left, a chair facing inwards towards the windows, and then our TV console is over on the right. I actually want to switch all of that around in this refresh. I do have this kind of chocolate covered accent chair that I want to keep in the room. We also have this kind of oversized coffee table that's really just too large for this room. I think the room is 12 by 14 feet if I'm not mistaken. But you can also see the sofa back there. It's kind of lumpy and old and we need to replace it at this point. So we also have a living room in our home. This is more of the formal living room, and this is what that looked like before we moved in. We had only painted but not moved any of our stuff in or dealt with the fireplace yet. And that is the room that you usually see me in. We've decorated for Christmas together in there, and some past videos you watched me decorate my new console table in there. And that's the room I show you most of my thrifted items in. So we're going to be focusing on this other room, which is in the back of the house, which is our family room today. I'm aiming for this to be a nice cozy space where we can watch TV. It's not supposed to be formal, but I want it to be homey and still beautiful, and I just have high hopes. So I'm going to be hanging on to the chair and the ottoman and a couple other pieces. So my plan for our refreshed family room is, first of all, I would need to sell the too large coffee table that's in our space. Secondly, I also want to sell our old sofa, and I'd like to replace it with a sectional instead. I also want to switch the seating and the TV sides of the room from the way that they are now, build a custom console table for behind the new sofa, and also change out the curtains. The first things on that list were selling the coffee table and the old sofa. This is just a quick shot of the old sofa right here. You can see it's a little lumpy. It's not the style I'm going for, but we easily sold both of those items right off the bat, so that cleared the space for the new room. As for the new sofa that's going in the space, I'm so excited and thankful that Linsy Home sent over their Rubik's 3 modular sofa for us, and I love it. So we got the 3-seater with 3 ottomans version that you see right here, but in the color almond cream. So these pieces are totally modular and you can fit them together however you would like. That's why there are so many configurations that you could do. And they all come in a separate box. So once I had all of those, I was so excited to start putting it together. One of my favorite features of this sofa is that each section of this has storage inside of it. I also really appreciate the fact that it was very easy to put together. So it was a breeze, honestly, to set this sofa up once I got all of the pieces. The sections hook together with these easy little clips, just like you see me doing here, and you just have to put the feet on the bottom and put the pieces in the right position that you want and hook them together with the clips. I also really like this console that you can get with this as an extra. So you can see the console here. It has a drawer for storage on the bottom, storage on the top, and even a little kind of hidden pocket in the back. So I'm storing our remote controls inside the top level. And one of my favorite features of this also is it has this neat little part at the top where you can plug in and charge your various devices. Now I'm just trying out different configurations for this sofa, and this is how we tried it first. We have the console section there, you can see in between two of the sections so that people could access it from both sides of the sofa. I want this to be a nice family friendly, just really relaxed space, and so I think that the cup holders and the charger are really a nice touch. for the family room. And so now I'm just hooking the other extra ottoman sections to the rest of the sofa, and you can see how easy that is right there. This is how we have it set up at first, and I'm going to actually turn the cushions around. You can see that they have tufting on the front. I actually kind of like the back side of those, so I'm just flipping them over so it's a cleaner look. But I love this sofa. It's nice and firm and supportive, which I really appreciate. Too many sofas today I think are just like cloud soft or whatever, and that's not really for me. It kind of hurts my back after a while. So we approve. Curry the cat approves. Now, one of my absolute favorite features of this sofa, besides the storage, that actually made me want to accept their offer to send me this, was the fact that all of these parts of the sofa, like everything down from the backs to the arms to the cushion covers, they all come off and are washable. I love that. I also love the fact that you can buy a set of extra covers to fit your sofa. So just not only can I wash the ones that I have, but also I have a backup set down the road after a couple of years or whatever I want to do. And as you can see, you can also flip this top part of the console over and use it like a tray. This is just so convenient for a family room. Okay, this is my plan for the console table. This is going to be a very fancy drawing here, okay? But it's just going to be a long, skinny table. It's going to be about 8 feet long to kind of fit our sofa. This board that I'm using for the top is going to be a 10 by 1, so 10 inches wide and just like a 1 inch thick. It doesn't need to be very thick for this top. And then for the legs, they're just going to be straight legs that kind of go down like this on the sides, just one like board each. I'm going to be attaching those with simple L brackets underneath. And these are going to be, instead of 10 inches wide, they're just going to be 8 inches wide. And for the side, these legs, I'm going to use a 2-inch thick board, so a little thicker. And then I'm also going to reinforce this center part with this like 2x4 that's going to run all the way underneath the center and touch up flush to the top and to the legs, so that's going to kind of give it a little more stability. My husband and I got started on this console table and it was super easy. Once I told him my plan, he helped me out. I filmed, I helped a little bit, but it was very simple. We got this done in maybe 30 minutes. And when you're using the L brackets like that, I think it just makes it so much easier to attach. It's just very straightforward. So you can see there the 2x4 that I was talking about that goes through and reinforces the center, and we put a screw through that on the end. And this is the final result. Before I have stained it obviously, but it's ready for me now to take over and put my stain on it and finish it up. I love the simple and sleek design of this, and it's just going to be behind the sofa to give me an area to display some decor. I'm using the stain color Provincial, and it's fairly dark, but it's also got some warmth, and I'm hoping that I like it. I haven't used this one before, so I'm just gonna start staining like on, probably testing like on the underside of this just to make sure that I really like it, and then I'm gonna go forward if I do. I can definitely tell that I'm gonna like this color just from the first little test swipe, so I'm just gonna go for it now. I gave this a while to dry and completely air out the smell, and it was ready to go. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is slide my newly minted behind the sofa console table into place. As you can see, I've left myself a spot for that, so I'm going to try to just slide it in there. Now, since moving in, we've already replaced the rug in this room, and I'm going to be keeping this area rug. This is the Laloy Layla rug in the color Antique Moss, and it'll be linked below for you in the description box. We've also replaced the ceiling fan. We picked this more modern style up from Facebook Marketplace, still in the box, and that saved us a lot of money over buying one new. I'm also going to be switching out the curtains in this room, and so one of the first things that I'm doing is taking out my hanging hardware, and I'm going to be moving it up higher and closer to the ceiling. This can make your windows feel larger, hanging them up higher, closer to the ceiling, and also out farther. And I didn't hang them high enough when we first moved in a few years ago, so I'm just sort of correcting that right now.
So I'm starting out with an odd number of rings. I'm using 9 for these panels. And first I'm just gonna clip one on each end. That's just so that it can hold it for me, so I can work with it. And then what I do is I take 2 at a time and I spread them out and divide them to the other sides. And then I'm left with one in the middle because it's an odd number. So then I take the very center of my piece and I clip this one up. If you have a method like this, you don't end up guessing so much. And so then for this section left, again, I have an odd number. So I slide the other 2 out and take the center one to the center. Same thing over here. It's pretty well evenly spaced doing it with this method because I'm finding the center over and over again. And that's how I do it.
So these are the curtains that I ended up going with. This color is called Copper Brown, and I'll link these in the description box in case you're curious. They are a really beautiful faux linen weave, and they are technically blackout curtains. And so these are actually grommet style curtains that, as I've showed you before on this channel, I never let that stop me. If I like a set of curtains and it's a good deal, I just go ahead and use them anyway. And all that I've done is just folded the grommet section around to the back and used clips instead. Funny enough, you would think you would lose length doing that, but you actually don't, because by the time you bring them down on the hooks, instead of being up along the rod inside the grommet, the length is about the same or a little bit longer. So never let that stop you. If you have a set of grommet curtains, you can certainly just switch it over to use the clips instead if you would like the look better. Now, to train these curtain panels to stay pleated in the way that I want them to, I'm going to be first gathering them by hand exactly how I want the pleats to lay, and then I'm just using some painter's tape around several sections of these panels to keep them in place. If you have a handheld steamer, you can then take the steamer while these are taped and go up and down those seams and pleat lines, and then just let it completely cool, kind of like the same rule for when you're doing your hair. First you style it with heat and then you let it cool in that position to really lock it in. The same thing with these. If you don't have a steamer, then just use the tape and let them stay taped for a good 48 hours or so for a similar effect. As you can see, I am using the steamer here for mine, and I'm just going up and down all of the pleat lines, and then I'm going to let that cool completely for about a half an hour before removing the tape. It works pretty well, as you can see from me just removing this section, that when I let go, the pleats are nice and stiff, and it's just a really fast and nice way to train your curtains without having to just let them hang for a long time. And now let's move on to more of the actual decorating. So first, another shot of the sofa really quick, just to show you the configuration we ended up settling on. You can see that we have 2 console sections, and we've put them on the ends kind of like arms. Now, they're not actually meant for that or marketed for that. They're supposed to go in the middle of 2 sections because you see the little holes on the side, but I'm just going to put a basket there anyway, so I wanted to use them on the end so we would both have our own console. This is my table that I've made. The sofa table behind is in place, and so now I can start decorating. And the first thing that I want to do is anchor this sofa table with a large piece of art. Now, this is a piece that I picked up at a liquidation store in Mebane, North Carolina, which unfortunately has closed now. But this piece I got for, I believe, around $25 on a sale that they were having, and it was $80 or $90 initially in Target. So I got a really good deal on this piece. I think it's really beautiful. I played around with either propping this on the sofa table or hanging it, and in the end I chose to hang it to give it a little more separation from the sofa itself and not to hide the bottom section. I love how the colors in this painting really echo the colors in this antique moss rug that I have in the room. And next on the left, I know I want to place an item with a little bit more height, so I'm using this vintage crock that I got from Etsy with a little bit of paper inside just to make this beautiful little faux thyme plant stand up a little taller, and I think that it fits perfectly inside of here. I'm going to be using this as my height element on the left hand side of the sofa table, and I'm actually adding a little bit of a book underneath just to give it a little bit more height and interest. On the opposite side, to kind of mirror that height, I'm adding a lamp. This ginger jar style lamp was a vintage find that I got a little while ago from a thrift shop in a previous video. This will mirror the height on the left hand side of the table. Right beside that, I'm placing some of these woven coffee colored boxes. You may have seen these online, but these are a killer deal on Amazon. I will link them in the description box. On the left hand side, working towards the middle, I'm adding this little print that I printed from CVS with a downloaded image, and I've wrapped the matting in some linen to give it an extra special touch. You can see how I did that with a perfect finish in the video linked above. I like to keep things mixed up but somewhat symmetrical as far as the height and weight of items that I'm putting on either side, so I'm pretty much going to leave it at that with a high and low object on either side of my center artwork, and add a candle for a little bit of ambiance on this side as well. Next, for the sofa itself, I have this lovely big chunky knit throw blanket that's an oversized size. I think that it's perfect for the family room because we can really just cuddle up underneath of it. This is from Amazon. I will link it below. Now on to pillows. The first pillow I'm going to be utilizing is this one that I picked up at a thrift shop just a couple of videos back. You may have seen it. This is a lovely blue-gray window pane pattern, and a lot of you ask me what I do to clean my pillows. I just put them in the washer. I just put the cover and the insert through the hot wash cycle in the washing machine. That's all I do. That's the answer. So also this next pillows, this chenille one in the middle is from Amazon. I really love that color. It's a set of 2. It's not very expensive at all. And then the third one is a lovely floral print, also from Amazon, which I will link for you. But I think that these 3 pillows go so well together. You have a solid, you have a linear pattern that's simple, and then you have finally the pattern that has a little more to it with the florals, and I think that that's a good combo and rule that you can use for pairing any pillows together. A solid, a linear pattern like a stripe or a window pane, something really simple, and then a pattern. So that's what I try to do, and I think that these go really well together. Now, since on one side of this sofa we have an extra long chase, which is plenty of room for us to stretch out, I'm going to be using it kind of like a floating coffee table, so you can just detach it, pull it towards the middle, leave it over here, whatever you want. And I'm using this beautiful tray that I got from a thrift store a couple of videos back for $6.99, plus a round beautiful vase that I got at a thrift store a while back, and some oat stems that I believe are from Hobby Lobby. I will try to link them below. But I'm using this just sort of area to kind of be in lieu of an actual coffee table. We can easily just pick this tray up and move it out of the way if we really want to stretch and lay all the way down, or keep it there, and it just looks so beautiful. I think that that's a great fit for our family room. Now over here to the side and the right of the sofa, I'm bringing in this blanket ladder that I picked up for under $10 at a thrift shop a while back. I'm just going to be hanging 2 blankets here. The top one is also thrifted, and it's actually initially from Pottery Barn. I really love it with the print on it of the diamonds and the fringe, and this other one I believe is from Ross from a couple years back. Now with the blanket ladder, I'm just trying to achieve a little bit more warmth on this side of the room and a little bit of height, as you will see why in a minute. On the other side, I'm going to be adding a tall tree. As I also mentioned, I'm going to bring in this basket. This is going to hide those little spacers where this console is technically supposed to be hooked to something else, but now it works perfectly. You can't even see those. I'm going to be placing this little homemade DIY table beside the accent chair. Now this was made from just attaching the base of a lamp to a round tray, and I glued them together with E6000 and then gave the whole thing a coat of black paint to make the little table. Now on the other side of the room, I've picked up 3 frames with oversized matting from Hobby Lobby for $12.99 each, and I added 3 different family photos and put those above our TV. And for that far corner, I felt like I needed something else tall to help balance out the height and the weight of the other side of the room. I love this 7-foot tree that I picked up from Amazon. It's beautiful, it's affordable, and I'll link it in the box for you. But it has gone viral, and it's called a dupe for this Pottery Barn black olive tree. Now for comparison, here is the Pottery Barn black olive tree. It's currently on sale for $319. It has a lovely shape, but zooming in, it appears to me to be kind of a normal quality for a faux tree. And the nice thing about this one from Amazon, it's that it's comparable in shape and it's only $80. I think that that's an excellent deal, and I like how the branches on this one look even a little bit more realistic to me than the Pottery Barn version. For the base of this tree, I'm going to be using this little vessel that I picked up at a consignment shop a while back. And I'm going to be using some paper on the top of the bowl for filler, and then adding some Spanish moss to set that off. The pot and the moss make a huge difference in the overall look of this tree and really do, like I said, finish it off. Now I think that this tree is my favorite part of this room, along with the sofa. And speaking of the sofa, the console part is coming in handy for the extra outlet. We've had a tropical storm here in North Carolina this week, and it's dark and dreary outside, so I've needed my ring light to film. Now, I would like to replace the TV console at some point, but for now, this one is thrifted. We've had it for several years, so I just gave it a good clean to spruce it up. And then I'm adding these 2 yard sale books that were only $1 each, which was amazing. These are really, really nice and expensive books. I kind of couldn't believe it, but I'm also adding this vintage brass candle snuffer that I picked up for only $1 as well at a thrift store. You can see also another one of those coffee colored baskets inside this console, and those come in sets of 3, which is so nice. I'm also adding this little basket that I thrifted for $2.99 to the floor beside it, and this will hold a couple more books for an extra homey touch. And then lastly, I'm bringing over this piped ottoman. I got this from the same consignment shop that I mentioned earlier for a lot less than retail, and Curry the cat likes to sit here and look out the window and relax, so that's great. And this is the final reveal. Let's look back one more time at the room back in the day before we moved in to get the full effect. After painting and slowly redecorating, this is the room now. I really wanted a family-friendly, comfy, and low-key family room where we could relax, and I love how the room now speaks to all of those elements. So I feel comfortable having this light-colored sofa since the covers are all washable and replaceable, and I love the storage, so do go and check out that sofa from Linsy Home. And now, before today's video is over, I actually do have a giveaway for today's video as a thank you for watching and a little celebration for approaching almost 25,000 subscribers in under a year. I would like to send one of you a coffee table book straight from Amazon. It will be one of these 2 books, and to enter you just need to subscribe if you aren't already, and then leave a comment that includes a book emoji. Thank you again. I really appreciate those of you who watch loyally so very much. And I'm also adding another way to support this channel. You can now click the join button below my videos to become a channel member. And this has 2 tiers that I've tried to price very affordably since this is a thrifty channel. But the tiers come with different perks, including things like loyalty badges, priority reply to comments, and even early access to videos. So if you love this channel and my content, you might consider checking out that join button. And that about wraps up today's makeover video, and you know the drill as far as hitting like, subscribing, and leaving a comment, so thank you, and I will see you at the next video.